Okay guys, so I apologize, the last video got messed up, and so it just got a little crazy, and I just have had to redo it a few times, so we're just going to finish it up real quick. Hopefully it works this time, and I can finish it up, and we're just going to finish up this video about Saturn here. So we finished off in the last video, part 1, talking about Saturn and Libra, cardinal air, the scales, the scales, the representation of the balance, right, being the 7th house, the partner, the relationships, things like this, literally representing balance of the zodiac. The only sign that is not represented by a living symbol, right, a living glyph, like an animal. So we got the scales here. So this is where Saturn is able to, is like Saturn's factory. Saturn's able to stabilize and structure things at a very high degree here, very high level, high intellectual capacity, very balanced way. So Saturn couldn't do that in any sign. It couldn't even do it in Aquarius. Not balanced enough. Too damn far out. And definitely not Gemini. Way too crazy and frenetic and too broad and vast. And so Libra's perfect. It's cardinal because it represents you know, it's ruled by Venus, right? So loving, but also it's also air though, so it's cardinal too. It's cardinal air, so it's initiating and creating new ways of how to think and communicate. So there has to be an aspect of balance there to achieve anything there. And so the reason why Saturn, part of the reason why Saturn is in heaven there, exalted, is because the sun falls there too in Libra. So we talked about that in our first video of this series, in the sun video. So the sun and Saturn are natural opposites, just like the moon and Saturn. So Saturn balances out our luminaries. So just to finish up this video here, we're going to talk about the fall of Saturn. So we're talking now about the natural polar opposite of Libra, which of course will be Aries. So we're starting to talk about the fire, and we're talking about the cardinal fire aspect here. So we're talking about initiating and creating new ways of how to see and feel, right? And so this is very, very, not only is it the masculine side of Mars here in Aries, but it's also the exaltation of the sun. So we're talking about a very hot climate. It's very fiery, very hot, spark of creation, fire, initiative, right? So it's very spark-like, very hot and dry. And Saturn it's just too hot for Saturn there, man. Saturn's getting burned up, doesn't really know how to, and everything Saturn builds in Aries gets burned right before his very eyes, burned, you know, melted basically in front of his very eyes. So that's what happens there in Aries a lot of times. Mars doesn't show Saturn the level of respect that Saturn shows Mars is when he's in Capricorn. I just realized that. But you know, we're talking about Aries, Saturn will fall there. So Saturn really just doesn't work there the way it's supposed to. If you think about it, everything Saturn represents is the opposite of what Aries represents. So Aries being a very right brain energy, right? Very imaginative, very creative, very from the yin world with the fire and the flames. Saturn representing, really epitomizing the left brain and the thinking and the logic, right? So we're talking about the air and the earth. The left brain. So naturally, when it comes to fire, Saturn is going to fall, and especially Aries, so the cardinal sign, and also in this case, the damn first house of the zodiac. So you know, it's a good one, man. So I think this is about wraps up our video series here on planetary reception, polarities, and aspects. And these are the two polarity aspects for Saturn here. Hopefully this video is still somewhat easy to understand, even with the several parts to the video. I had to remake it a few times, and every time I felt good about the video, and then I had to delete it. So hopefully this one works out and it was easier to understand. And we'll talk some more about all these planets in future videos and signs, of course, and all that. But for now, hopefully that added a little bit of structure to your life, talking about Saturn. You know, Saturn is all about structure, and it's not really about creativity or imagination or higher wisdom and knowledge. Nothing of that nature. Nothing to do with the right brain. So yeah, so I think that's going to be it for now. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hopefully this video helped. Namaste to the soul family, soul group, and subconscious community. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video. I'm Nick from Full Moon Fallen Astro Topics. Always say it wrong on the first time. Not always. That was the last time, actually. So until next time, everyone, thanks. Namaste.